Welcome to Scottish Outdoor Life. I've not been fishing for a while. Well, I had an hour the other night, but apart from that, it's probably a good 2 months or so. So I've come down to Walkmill tonight. I've probably only got a couple of hours, so I'm going to give the bleachings a shot for an hour. We're on the left bank. It's a bit of a tricky wade, but height's okay. And then we'll drop down to the Gurnall. It's another tricky wade, but yeah, there might just be one there for us, so we'll go and give it a go. We'll not waste any time, and we'll see how we get on. So we're giving them a size 8 sort of cascade variant. It's not really a cascade, to be honest, it's just a fly that I've tied up myself. It's a bit of a job getting out here, but once you're out here, it's alright. Probably got about really 30 yards, and then we need to cut in a fair bit. But down around that boil, you probably can't see it, that's where we're expecting a take. Still early, still kind of end of May. Well, not even end of May, halfway through May. So just see how we go. This height of water, if they're not lying in here, they should certainly be slowing up in here. And the next pool down. I'll be honest, one of the reasons I've not been out, there's been a real distinct lack of fish around, kind of on every river. It's pretty worrying, to be honest. I think we don't normally comment about this stuff or talk about it, but it's really time that I think everyone got together and did everything that they can to kind of talk to the government and talk to your MPs, your councillors, that sort of thing, about the lack of salmon, because the way it is, another 10 years there might not be any more around. They're just declining. It's every river as well. Let us know in the comments how you've got on this season. I've had 2 fish, I haven't had any of them on camera. One was helping out somewhere. And one was up on the D where, yeah, I didn't have the camera with me. I was only there for half a day, but yeah, it's been pretty grim all over. I think everyone's hoping they might come in May, you know, and then it'll be they might come in June. It's just been a poor spring, you know. We can't keep talking like that. It's every year it's getting slightly worse, and then all of a sudden, you get a little bit better one year, and kind of all the talk goes away again, and then it's just back to the same the next year. We really need to start talking to people and seeing what we can do, even if it's collectively, all the rivers. I don't know what you guys think is the causing the issues. I think it's a bit of everything. Global warming, you know, the upper reaches and the rivers heating up, goosanders, cormorants, seals, dolphins. What's going on at sea we've no idea about. Some talk about inshore feeding. When the smolts first go, there's not enough of that. Then there's trawlers, you know, there's a whole host of it, but I think it's just a bit of everything, and there's not enough fish coming back to the river to then spawn to produce enough to mitigate against all these things. You know, I don't think it's just one thing. I don't know what people's views are on hatcheries. I'm all for them, to be honest. I think they have their place. If a river can sustain itself with decent numbers of fish, then there's maybe not a call for it, but you tell me one river in Scotland or Ireland that's consistently sustaining itself. You know, I don't think anyone can name one. Certainly not one that's not got a hatchery on it. If you're lucky, you might get one or two, but in the grand scheme of things, I think the populations need supplemented. That's my view. I respect everyone's opinion, whether they like hatcheries, hate hatcheries. Somebody told me they were poison the other day. Well, listen, I respect that view as well, but I disagree. But yeah, it'd be interesting to hear other people's views. You know, there's loads on Facebook and stuff like that, and everyone talks about it, but I just think the time for action is now. I've taken a little bit more to do with some bits and pieces. I think we need to be doing habitat. I don't necessarily think that trees are the answer short term, but long term they might have their place, so there's money there for funding at the moment, so we should be trying to plant trees in areas that are issues, bank erosion, obstacles. There's a whole host of things we could be doing. If we can have the rivers in as perfect a shape as they possibly can, then brilliant, but I still don't think it's enough. Not at the moment with everything that's going on, particularly at sea. This is a pool called the Woodside. We'll give this a quick go. It only takes 20 minutes. When I was 13, this stone here, myself and one of the guests used to sit on that with a shrimp. That's when we could fish it. You just used to chuck it in here and let it float down into this confluence of these two. God, they would absolutely nail it. It was good fun back then. I'll just do this real quick. I'm not expecting anything at all in here. Where you do get them, just the far side of that current in that quiet water. So you need to get your fly into that, and then as it's pulling out of it, they often take you in the stream, but they followed you out of that quiet stuff. Don't know if you see what I was meaning earlier on. This is traditionally the deeper bit. Yeah, it is here, but up through this stuff, that's shallower now than it used to be. Whereas that's a lot more defined over there. There's a definite change since, God, 20 years ago, but it just shows you how it can change over the years. Whether people would agree with me or not, I don't know, but very few people waded through it all the time I did. It's hard to think I was doing that when I was Rowan's age. God, no wonder my mum was having canaries when I was down here on my own. I used to come out, and at that time we killed pretty much everything. We used to catch them in here and then knock them on the head and lay them on that, balance them on that stone. You could only fit one on it without them sliding off, so if you caught two, then that was you had to go out. Yeah, that's right in it now. This seems to fish, although, you know, you'd expect running fish to be going here, and they do go through here, but it normally fishes well kind of July onwards, you know, when stuff starts sitting about. I think that night Rowan and I got 6 between us here. I got one in here spinning. Don't know if you've watched that video, but there was one out of here. He had the camera on his head at that time. Oh, that's a horrible wind. That's better. Well, this is the Gurnall here. It's a great cast. It's a much better cast from the other side, to be honest, but we're single banks just now, so we can only fish the left bank, but we've got the entire beat. Lower Red Gorton, I've got the right bank, but if you pretend you're a bit of a goat, then you can actually get yourself out to places that you can get a cast over the good bits, a bit like the bleachings there. But it is height dependent. If the water's going over that furthest stone there, then it's pretty tricky because there's a right deep hole in here and there's a special way you need to go out. So, but we'll go and give it a go. It's about 8:30. Probably got another hour. I've seen one, saw one in the tail of the bleachings, but there could easily be one out in here for us, especially at this time of night. They maybe hang about a wee bit more than they would. So yeah, we'll go and give it a go. So we can actually get the fish just out here. You'll have seen it on other videos. I've caught them out here before. But you can get them, all I've done is taken the fly off my rod and you can get them right there. See how far we've come out. We're sitting right on top of them. I like this bit. Do you know, I've had more fish just in this wee bit, maybe 15 yards off the end of my rod, than I've had, you know, full length of line way down where I would normally expect them from the far side. Seems to be this bit that fishes. As well. This is really shallow in here. You just knee depth out in here as well. That slicky bit seems to sit on the edge of the current there. Well, that's it, the end of the line. Take another 3 yards off it. Let it drift down. Well, hopefully it's not so long before I get out the next time. Hope you enjoyed it. Nothing caught, but nice to get back out again. And yeah, we'll see you next time.